Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. I'm your host, Benjamin Kennedy. Thank you for joining me here on this Monday evening. We are just on the verge of puck drop for Carolina and Washington, game four, starting right over here on my shoulder. Of course, I can't show you my TV while I'm recording. That would be wrong. That would be bad. You'd never see me again if I did that. Um, but I hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you all had a great Mother's Day weekend out there. Hope you had a chance to go see your mom and spend some time with her and give her all the love and all the flowers and dinners and everything she deserves. So, um, hope it was a fun one for everybody. Of course, a whole lot of hockey over the weekend since I've last been with you. And instead of just strolling on and giving game recaps of all the different games, I wanted to take a different approach to just kind of where we're at with each one of these teams. And less maybe about the teams, more about the fan bases in terms of confidence level. How confident is each fan base feeling as we're now roughly halfway through the second round? All these series are at least 2 games to 1 at this point. Some 2-2, some no sweeps here, no 4 game sweepers here for the second round, which is great. Um, but how freaked out are some fan bases? How confident? How high as a kite are some of you fan bases out there? Also, I want to take the next few minutes and put myself in the seat of each fan base and get a sense of how y'all feeling right now. So what I'm doing here is I have my board up here. I've got 3 different categories. I've got Aragon, riding into battle, feeling confident, very, very high confidence over here. In the middle, we've got, of course, kind of a picture of Gandalf fighting the Balrog, "You shall not pass." Of course, the whole famous line from the books and from the movies. Feel a little nervous, right? If you're the Balrog on the other side, maybe you're a little nervous. And just a little side note here. Think about that scene. I'm gonna get into my Tolkien Lord of the Rings nerdery for a second. If you're the Balrog and you get this wizard, trespassing in your house with all these little people walking through, and this wizard has the audacity to tell you you can't pass, you can't come over your own bridge. What? I don't blame him for whipping Gandalf down the down the hole there. Like, yeah, who are you to walk into my house and tell me what? I'm kind of on Team Balrog on that one. I hate to say it. Spoiler alert: if you haven't watched the movie, you've had plenty of time. But yeah, Gandalf goes down the hole with the Balrog. So, anyways, so this is kind of our medium. Like you're a little bit nervous, maybe not super, uh, super confident, but you're also feeling still okay, but just maybe a little bit nervous. And then our third category, of course, is Golem, where you're screwed, man. You're done. You're feeling screwed. So anyway, and this is certainly similar to if anybody follows a hockey guy, Shannon, who does a great podcast, wildly popular. If you're not following him, you got to go check him out. He is fantastic. But he does a similar board called the Panic Index, which I've watched him do that for years. It's awesome. I love it. So this is a little bit of a spin from him. So I do want to give full credit to Shannon, as he's just awesome and certainly inspiration to me as I've been doing this podcast. But anyways, we are going to go in alphabetical order here, starting with Carolina. Of course, they are up 2 games to 1 here with their game just now kicking off. Yeah, we're just a minute 10 in down there from Raleigh. But how confident are you feeling if you're a Carolina fan? I think you're probably feeling pretty confident. I think you're pretty high up there right now. You're up 2-1 in this series. You've got of course, the home game tonight. During the regular year, your home record was 31-9-1, and you haven't lost at home yet in the playoffs. 4-0. Your goals against per game is 1.88, and your PK is in at 95.5% here so far through the playoffs. So, yeah, a lot to feel confident about, right? Anderson, in that he's been healthy. And knock on wood, 1.32 goals against and a 940 save percentage, both number one in those categories for all the remaining netminders in the playoffs. Yeah, we talk about goal scoring, right? It's something I talked about when this series started. I thought it'd be a lower scoring affair. It has been. Carolina's not a juggernaut of an offense, but can they explode? Do they need to score more, not only to win this series, but to maybe win the East, maybe win a Stanley Cup? Or do they actually need to? Is it just not their kind of MO? Their MO is really team defense and structure. And um, so far right now, your leader, Aho, has 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points. Svechnikov has 6 goals, 1 assist for 7 points, and Jarvis 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. So, they're active, but they're not blowing up the stat sheet by any stretch. A couple other guys to watch for, of course, Jackson Blake. First time in the playoffs for him through his 8 games, 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. So he's actually showed out quite well. Another newcomer, of course, Logan Stankoven came over from Dallas. He has looked quite good as well. 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points through 8 games. And Taylor Hall, 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points. All three of those guys, if they can be at kind of that secondary scoring level and give a little bit of extra push and punch, that might really, really help Carolina out. But yeah, I don't think there's any reason for you not to feel really, really confident if you're Carolina. Now, Carolina struggles. They struggle to get by second rounds. They often win in the first round, and they've just struggled to move much further. But if you can win tonight, be up 3 games to 1, you're in the driver's seat. You're feeling really, really good. All right, we are moving on to Dallas. So Dallas, of course, up 2 games to 1 on Winnipeg, and I think you should be feeling pretty confident. I think if you're Dallas, I'm gonna kind of put him maybe just a shade, maybe kind of like right here, not maybe quite as confident as Carolina, but I put you like right there. Yeah, interesting third period yesterday for sure. The Petrovic goal. Was it a kick? Was it not a kick? Was I mean, what was it? Right. Certainly the refs didn't know. It was hard for them. They called it a goal on the ice. Um, and after just a super long review, what was it, 8 or 9 minute review? Basically, the refs indicate that yes, it was kicked, but then Hellebuyck, you know, puts it into his own net, basically negating the kick. I guess I haven't seen another description on that. Yes, the game does end up being 5-2, but honestly, that third goal in the third period was a huge momentum swing in that game, and I think if that's a no goal, maybe you see a different result last night. I don't know. But good break for Dallas goes their way, and sorry, I keep looking over my shoulder. It's hockey's on the TV. It's like a bug light. Um, and looking at that third period, and we'll of course we'll talk about Winnipeg here later on. But did the Stars get Hellebuck off his game in that third period? Like Hellebuck looked all right through 2 periods on the road. We're going to talk about that. But were they able to shake him a little bit again? I don't know. Of course, Mikko Rantanen completely just staying hot and 3 points in this game, 9 goals, 9 assists for 18 points through 10 playoff games. Just been lights out on a mission for sure. And listen, you're winning without Heiskanen. Still no Heiskanen. We'll see if he can go in game 4. I know there's a report out today that DeBoer is kind of sticking to his story that he expects to see Miro in this series. So yeah, I just want to see everybody out there and healthy. If you can get Heiskanen back, you're feeling even more confident. Ottinger's looked good so far, 2.71 goals against, a 911 save percentage. And for me, Otter, I feel like he's got a shout out in him at some point in the playoffs. I just do. I think he's just gonna have one of those special games where he's just gonna be a brick wall. He's played well, obviously keeping his team in it. And has looked good. So I think no reason to not feel confident. Okay, we got the Edmonton Oilers up next. Of course, they're up 2 games to 1 after just a wild, wild ending to their last game up in Edmonton. Um, I'm going to kind of put them here with Dallas. I think. I think so. I think they're confident. Um, nobody's won a home game yet in the series. You're zero point 0.4 seconds away from at least going to overtime, right? And had you gotten to overtime, who knows what happens? And you could have really put a dagger in this series and been up 3-0. Not able to happen. Of course, the Riley Smith goal goes in, and just a crazy play. Of course, it's Draisaitl that kind of, unfortunately for him, try to do the right thing, try to cover up the net for Skinner, but just a tough break. And every single second counts, man. I think that's what that teaches you. Every second counts. And you know what? You got Stuart Skinner back in net for game 4. So hold on. Let me just adjust this. I think I'm actually I'm gonna put you more like I'm gonna put you more over here. I do. I mean, I'm gonna rethink that one. Sorry. Of course, we know Pickard is still out. Looks like a day-to-day injury right now. Skinner will be, I believe, back in net for game 4. Obviously, didn't like how he played that last shot. way out of position. And of course, Draisaitl, they're trying to bail him out. And I think it did take away from, I thought, what was a fairly solid game three performance for him. I thought he looked all right. I thought he felt good. And he probably felt good going into overtime, but just got a little overzealous, over aggressive on that last shot. Just left you wide open for trouble. So, how are we feeling about Skinner for game four? I mean, that's part of why I'm kind of moving this over here. I mean, goaltending's been a story for Edmonton really the entire year and in these playoffs. So, you know, do you feel better if Pickard's out there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. From a scoring perspective, though, you're scoring great. You got 8 players with at least 3 goals or more, and your big boys, McDavid, Draisaitl playing really, really well. So I think a lot of confidence there. You've won 2 games in Vegas in their building. You won 1 game in overtime. You did let the Knights up off the mat in game three, and in a very tough, hotly contested game. You let them off the mat a little bit. So, a little bit of momentum push maybe for Vegas in that one. All right. Moving on to the Florida Panthers. Not a whole lot to question here. Confidence, not a problem if you're Florida. Of course, now you're tied 2-2 in this series after being down 0-2. Um, Never any worry out of this club, never any anxiety. They've just got that been there, done that type of attitude. And yeah, truly a gutsy game three overtime win to climb back into this series there. So, good on them. I fully expecting them to get at least one at home. I did not expect this to be a sweep at all. Bob has been, as I think I said before, a little bit pedestrian so far in the series, 2.62 goals against, an 888 save percentage. Yeah, you'd like to see him be a little tighter and make a couple extra saves here and there, but Florida's not going to lose the series because of him. And of course, he always seems to step up in those big moments. He's had plenty of them in his career, and so I just don't worry about Bob, despite maybe somewhat lesser numbers than we expect to have out of him. 3.67 goals per game. That is second amongst the 8 teams that are left. So you're scoring goals. You have no problem there, as we know. And of course, you have the Maple Leaf killer, Brad Marchand, overtime winner in game three. And I'll tell you, as a Bruins fan, it was so mixed emotions seeing that, because Brad Marchand scoring an overtime goal is one of the happiest things that could take place for a Bruins fan, right? Like, yeah, we just won. Marshy, our captain, put the team on his back and won another one. And then you look at his sweater, and it doesn't say Boston, but it says Florida. But he did it against Toronto, so that also should make us happy that, hey, Marchand beats Toronto. But it's all out of context, all out of whack. And as a Bruins fan, it's like not sure how to feel about that. It just kind of tore me up a little bit, but of course, all the years playing against Toronto in the playoffs, 33 points now in 31 career playoff games against Toronto. Yeah, he knows how to beat the Maple Leafs for sure. All right. Now we will move on to those Toronto Maple Leafs. If I am a Toronto fan today, and I am a Blue Jay fan, of course, but if I'm a Maple Leafs fan, after being up 2-0 and not able to get one on the road, how am I feeling? Is the history starting to weigh? Is it, oh, here we go again? And I don't necessarily think that's in the room right now with Craig Berube and his group, but I think as a fan base, yeah, you're freaking out, man. You're freaking out. Alarm sounding yet? Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, it's been a home series so far. We know that, but like I just said, all you needed was a split in Florida. That's it. Just one game. And last night was alarming to me, where now you're in game four and you could generate nothing offensively. I mean, it was so lifeless offensively, and part of that is how Florida was able to get to their forechecking game and made it difficult. But I don't think Toronto was very sharp last night. Didn't create a lot of good opportunities for themselves, and wasted just an amazing effort from your goaltender. Joseph Wall, 35 saves on 37 shots against that team in that building. Man, I mean, without him, this is 22-0. Forget about 2-0. And I kept saying it. It's like when it was 1-0, it's like they're one shot away. They're one play away from being right back in this game, as bad as it's been. I mean, you're down 1-0. It felt like you were down 4-0 at some points in that hockey game. Tough one if you're a Maple Leafs fan. That was a tough one to watch. Penalties a problem? They traditionally haven't been, but in this game, it absolutely was. You had 4 penalties in that first period, and stop whining. Any Maple Leaf fan that wants to whine about those calls, I am not here for it. All 4 of those were the right calls. They were not any sort of homework calls. Those were accurate calls. You got to be better. You got to be sharper. I mean, OEL took a couple bad ones in this game. No whining about that. You play the game the right way, things go your way. Just dumb mistakes, and he killed the first couple. What, first 2 or 3? Actually, I think it was the fourth one where Florida finally scored. It was the over the ice, or the puck over the glass on OEL. So just a dum dum where he had so much time to get the puck out, and just over the glass we go, and that's your 1-0 score right there. So you got to clean that up, and you got to get your own power play going. I mean, that's such a weapon for you. If you're Toronto, you got to get that going. Are we worried about Auston Matthews? We haven't talked about him a lot. He's not being talked about a lot so far in these playoffs. Through 10 games, there's 2 goals, 8 assists for 10 points. So he's still a point per game guy. That's still just fine. But when Matthews is really going, when he's really on, he's zipping the puck around, he skates, he's fast, he's hard on pucks and hard to keep up with. There's just got to be something nagging there, right? There's got to be some sort of nagging injury, or something in there affecting him right now. Yeah, Toronto really needs him to produce, I think, to retake control of the series. You have other goal scorers for sure, but if Matthews can get going, that could be a real nice thing for this team, and something I think they do absolutely need it if they're going to continue on and beat this Florida Panthers team. Taking a quick look up here, it's 10:25 to go in the first. 0-0 Carolina Washington. 7 shots on goal for both clubs. So see how that one turns out. Moving on to the Vegas Golden Knights. Of course, they are right now down 2-1 to Edmonton. I think there's some reason for a little bit of nervousness. I don't know if we're feeling completely screwed yet. Of course, you got a little momentum coming back at you. A team with a lot of cup pedigree. I'm going to put them right there. A little bit nervous right now. Of course, you lose both games at home, and just razor thin on game 3, right? Facing overtime, you get that one to go in, zero point 0.4 seconds to go. And upside down on some of these numbers right now. Their goals for right now, I think they're only scoring 3.11 goals per game. They're giving up 3.44 goals per game. So not typical numbers you would see out of a Vegas Golden Knight team. I was more confident about the Knights coming into the playoffs than I am right now. I did pick them to win this series too, but so far, just something doesn't feel quite right about the Knights. I don't know what it is. I think maybe one thing it could be is Jack Eichel. You got to find a way to get Eichel going, right? He's only 1 goal so far in the playoffs, 9 assists, so he's got 10 points, but you got to get him going. He's got to be a spark plug for this team offensively. He's just not there. And Aiden Hill, oy, oh boy, it's ugly. It's ugly right now. 3.14 goals against and an 872 save percentage. Honestly, does this beg a question for Bruce Cassidy? Does he have to get Schmid in the game? Does he have to give Schmid a chance at this thing? I'm sure there's some voices out there in Vegas saying, yeah, you got to at least give him 1 game here. Now, you won the last game, so you're probably not making changes after game 3. If you go down 3-1, if you lose game 4, maybe you make a change there, especially if the optics aren't good. If Hill is struggling again, maybe you make that change. I'm not sure. But game 4, of course, is tonight. So we'll see if this remains a road series. I think that game starts, I believe it's 9:30 tonight, Eastern time. And at last look, Stone was a game time decision. So a little beat up there from Mark Stone. Hopefully he can get out there and get going. Moving on now to the Washington Capitals. Of course, they are down 2-1 in their series with Carolina. And of course, I have Carolina here. I kind of think I have the Capitals. I'm going to put them kind of over here. I don't think they're feeling as confident, maybe as even as Vegas right now. And it is now 1-0 Carolina. As I just turn around to take a look, I'm not sure who scored that one, as I don't have it completely in front of me. It's just off to the side of me, but it is 1-0 Carolina. I'm going to put Washington right over here. As I thought this would be, a low scoring series, kind of a low score, low event type series too. There's been some physicality, right? These teams don't like each other, but this is just the Carolina effect. It's been kind of a ho hum. I don't want to use the word boring because it's playoff hockey. It's not boring, but just a low event type of series so far. It's one of those series like who can grind out the best defensive effort, type of series, which doesn't always play well on TV. Great statistically, great, coaches love that kind of hockey, but the casual fan may not find it too exciting. I do think I said this in another video that Washington does need to take a page out of Carolina's playbook at this point. Get shots on net. Just start shooting the puck, right? Through 8 playoff games, they are averaging 24.4 shots per game. They're giving up 29.6. Man, that is an equation that's just going to pay out bad dividends the longer this thing goes. No surprise, the power play is struggling, and I say no surprise because of who you're playing against. You're 20% through the playoffs. It's seventh out of the 8 remaining teams. Of course, Carolina's PK is just top notch. I do believe I think they were number one ranked all year as well. So they are just a heck of a PK. So you can't rely on your specialty teams, yeah, at least on the power play side, to get you anything. So your 5-on-5 play really needs to stand out. You really have to take advantage of the 5-on-5. And he just got to get more shots on that. Got to get more activity in and around Anderson right now. I mean, his was he 1.88 goals per GAA. So you just got to keep shooting. Find opportunities. Listen, Thompson has looked good for them, 2.26 and a 9.22 save percentage. Logan just needs some run support, man. Got to give him some run support out there. Listen, I did pick Washington. I'm not giving up on them in this series. I still feel like they can win this series. They are a very good road team. We know how tough Carolina is at home. Washington, listen, their record, if you looked at their home and away splits, pretty equal throughout the year. They play how they play hockey translates really well on the road. Um, and I think they should be able to handle the atmosphere. Of course, it's not looking great right now as I say that. And I'm also not going to say this is a must win tonight for the Caps, but you definitely want to avoid if you don't want to be down 3-1. You'd rather not be. Obvious statement, right? But um, yeah, we'll see how the rest of this game goes. But I am a little bit worried right now, just again because of how good Carolina is, how good they are at home, and some of the metrics as they played out. We'll see what happens. And last but certainly not least, we have got the Winnipeg Jets down 2-1 to Dallas. Of course, it's been a little bit of a back and forth series. Of course, Winnipeg losing that one last night, but some really poor metrics for Winnipeg. Looking at some of these numbers, 2.9 goals for in the playoffs versus 3.5 goals against. Your power play is at 17.1%, worst of the 8 teams that are left. Your PK is at 75.8%, and your faceoff percentage right now 47.4%. So you're under 50% there too. Listen, I'm sure Winnipeg fans are tired of talking about Connor Hellebuck. So am I. So I am going to keep this rather brief. Listen, after 2 periods in the last game, he felt like he had defeated those road demons. Felt like they had gone away. He looked good. Looked like the same old Connor we saw for 62 starts this year during the regular year. And then the third period happened, and it all just kind of fell apart, right, for the team and for him. I truly think all he needs is just have just one good stellar road game, maybe a shutout on the road. And I just kind of feel like he's back, right? I think that's all he needs is just that little bit of confidence on the road. Are we going to see that, though? Are we going to see that in this series? I'm kind of like, you're down 2-1. You're in this series. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of put you. I'm gonna kind of put you. You haven't had to play Haskinen either yet, and he's a difference maker for Dallas. I'm gonna kind of put you here, right? I'm gonna kind of put you over here. I think I think you're a little worried now. Is Connor gonna do this again? After we thought he had kind of solved this and figured this out. Listen, I mean, through the series, 8-8 in goal scoring, right? I mean, it hasn't been a super high scoring series here through the 3 games. And Winnipeg actually has outshot Dallas 82-71 through the 3 games. But despite those numbers, it feels like Dallas has had more jump offensively. And just watching with my eyes without looking at numbers or stats, like Dallas seems like the better offensive team. Can somebody jumpstart this offense? Looking at the numbers, I don't know. I mean, they got offensive guys, they got players that can do it, but I'm thinking like a Gabe Filardi. Can he step up and do something here? I would say, for Winnipeg, put a crooked number up on the board in that first period in the next game. But put a 3 spot up. Take some pressure off Connor Hellebuck. Don't make this such a tight series. I really do think, of course, a ton hinges on Game 4 for Winnipeg. Truth be told, I just think that Dallas is a deeper, better team. Is playing better hockey right now. I just do. I just do. Well, that's what we have for our confidence level. So feeling quite confident if you're Carolina and Florida. Fairly confident, I'd say, if you're Dallas. You know, Edmonton was still confident, but slightly wavered in Vegas. I mean, these ships could pass here on the board. And over here, I think, is where we really have some concern right now. I know people are cheering for an all Canada final, Toronto and Winnipeg, but you know, listen, that Toronto series still just 2-2. Anything can happen, but you don't like the momentum in that one. A little bit of coaching rumor news, not really news, but just more rumors right now. What are we hearing out there? Still, I think 6 openings out there. We are hearing Jay Woodcroft's name being mentioned in Vancouver. Potential fit for Woodcroft and Vancouver seems to make sense. He seems like he'd be a good fit there. Of course, coached out in Edmonton before that. Vancouver team kind of in flux, in transition, perhaps. Not really sure where they're at. Woodcroft might be a good guy to come in and younger coach, and we'll see. We'll see. But when I heard the rumor, I was like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. A couple other names to throw into the Boston Bruins rumor mill. Marco Sturm, his name has been mentioned. Of course, he was, I think, a finalist for the San Jose job going back a little while ago. He is, of course, right now the AHL head coach there in Ontario for the LA Kings, and of course, former Boston Bruin. And then Mark Savard, assistant coach out of Toronto, of course, former Boston Bruin as well. His name has also been mentioned. So throw those names into the hat. And lastly, assistant coach for the Washington Capitals, Mitch Love, is his name is being mentioned, generating some interest. According to Pierre LeBrun, his name is being tossed around there a little bit. It's well thought of and might be a candidate getting some interviews as well. So that's what we have for you guys this evening. Please enjoy the 2 games tonight. Enjoy the rest of the hockey here over the next couple of days. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you do like what you're hearing here, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Enjoy the rest of this round 2. And until next time, everybody, be kind, show love, and God bless.